Hey barbecue fans, welcome to a beautiful cold evening on the Frank and Boo Ranch. Okay, so as we approach Valentine's Day, I wanted to give you guys sort of an upscale recipe that you could impress your significant other with. So tonight we're going to make a seafood casserole. Now what this consists of is scallops, shrimp, and lump crab meat. Now I have already started sauteing my onions because people know how to saute onions pretty well. If not, I'll do an extensive video on exactly how to saute onions. So what we're going to do is our onions are sauteing. Once they're just about translucent, we're going to add our chopped garlic. We're going to put that in there and we're going to saute that up a little bit as well. Then we're going to add a cup of milk, a quarter cup of heavy cream, a quarter cup of white wine, and we're going to mix that all together, and then we're going to throw some flour in to thicken it up. We're going to get the flour to cook a little bit. Actually, we're going to put the flour in before we do that. We're going to do that after the garlic is done. Because we want to cook that flour, make sure it's not raw. We want cooked flour in our meal. Then we're going to add the rest of this stuff. We're going to cut up our scallops a little bit. We're going to throw those in here. And we are going to put the cream and the seafood mix into our crocks. And we're going to put them on our smoker. Now, I've discussed in detail about putting seafood on my smoker. I don't do it. This is the only seafood that I'll put on my smoker because, as I said before, once your grates are seasoned, it's going to hold that fish flavor, that seafood flavor. And I've also got a nice cookie sheet just in case anything boils over because we are cooking at 400 degrees. So, like I said, we've already got our onions going, so I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic right now. Get this going here. Now, while the garlic is cooking, should only take a minute or so. I'm going to go ahead and slice up my scallops. So you don't want an entire whole scallop, so I'm just going to quarter them. Now you can add whatever you want to this. You can do fish. I've done it with fish in the past. I prefer the scallop and the shrimp and the crab. It makes a little bit more elegant dish. You do have to be careful. You don't want to scorch the scallops when you're cooking them in the butter. Scallops are a very delicate white fish. And so we want to make sure that they are very cooked very correctly here. All right, so what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and add some flour here. We want 2 tablespoons, or 1 tablespoon of flour to start. We can always add more if need be. And I've got a cup, so I'm going to add 2 just to go with it. There we go. All right, so let's mix this up. It's going to get nice and thick, and we want to, you can see it's going to start to thicken up here. You just want to swirl it around a little bit to where it gets cooked. A little bit more heat under here. It does actually make a difference if you don't cook the flour. If you just add raw flour in, it's going to have a little odd taste to it. So you just want to make sure that you cook that for about a minute or so, just about like we did here. So I'm going to add my milk in, my heavy cream, and my white wine. Oh, wait a minute, the white wine goes in here, never mind. Okay. All right, so we're gonna thicken this up. We're gonna let this cook a little bit here. And this is like the soup we did a little while back where we had the roux. That's essentially what we're making, is a roux here. So this is already starting to thicken up a little bit. I might actually just add a little bit more flour to it, even though it's not going to be cooked out completely. It'll be fine. I'll thicken it up. I like a nice thick cream sauce. Ooh, there she goes. And this smells fantastic already. And what we're going to do is once we get all the seafood and everything in here, that's a nice thickness right there. Man, I can't keep that from going over. Let's go ahead and add our scallops. So we're going to add the scallops in. Put the rest of them in here. I'm going to take my shrimp and I'm going to put a little cut onto the shrimp too. Well, that's thickening a little bit more. Kind of cut them in half. I like a good hearty seafood casserole. I don't want it minced or anything like that. That's why I don't use fish, because when you use fish, it kind of just falls apart. And you've got like shredded fish in your seafood casserole here, which, I mean, it's not a big deal. It's still delicious. but this is what I prefer. So you guys can add whatever you'd like to. So let's just do these quickly here. I've got my smoker set to 400 degrees. So we're just going to cook this for about 25 minutes at 400 degrees. And that's going to finish cooking the shrimp and the scallops. It's going to make a nice crust on top of the, ooh, this is nicely thickening up. Nice crust on top of the dish itself. And now I've got crab. Now I just bought the Phillips lump crab. Picked this up at Costco or Whole Foods, wherever you can find it. You can find them pretty much anywhere. Put as much in here, as little in here as you want. I'm going to load this up a little bit. All right. Now, this is what we like to see. All right, so let me show you guys what I'm looking at here. So I've got a nice thick cream sauce on this seafood dish. I'm going to let it cook a little bit here. A little bit more here until the shrimp start to get a little bit translucent. You can see this is a really quick recipe. The longest part of this recipe is just the cook itself. So our shrimp is starting to cook up a little bit. So now let's get ready to plate this up so we can cook it. All right, so I'm going to take my 2 crocks. Probably going to need 3 because I made more than I thought I would. Put that over here. We want to leave just enough room to put the crackers and butter on the top, which makes a nice little crust. All right. Put that over there, cut that off. Okay. Now, we're going to take our crackers. We're going to put this right over the top here. And what this is going to do, this is going to crisp up in the smoker. And it's going to be very tasty topping on it. So now another thing I want to point out is the pellets I'm using tonight. Now the pellets I'm using are fruit wood. You don't want to mix a really robust wood with this recipe. You don't want to use a hickory or a mesquite or something like that because that is not going to end well. It's going to have a funky flavor, and I don't think you'll like it very much. All right, so I am going to go ahead and put these in the smoker. You can see it's rolling really nice. We're at 413 degrees, is exactly where I want it. And I'm going to put them right on my cookie sheet. So if it boils over, it's not going to go into my smoker. I won't have fish stain smells in my cooker. So I'm going to go ahead and clean this up, and we will be back in about 20 minutes for the finished dish. See you in a bit. Okay guys, here we are back at the end of our seafood casserole cook. So this has been on for 20 minutes now at 400 degrees. So let's go ahead and pull these things off and get a look at them. Now you can see what I was talking about when I said they may boil over, which both of them did just a little bit, and my advanced thinking of putting a sheet pan underneath it saved it from getting on my grill. So there we have it. This smells absolutely amazing. It's a really simple but elegant dish. It's a little bit more upscale than your standard stuff that we're cooking here, but I figured you guys might like to see this dish for Valentine's Day. Impress your significant other. One thing I will say is normally I like to put a little bit of Parmesan cheese in here or some type of cheese. I didn't have any tonight, so I mean, it's good either way. So if you want to throw some Parmesan cheese in it, throw however much you want. It's going to give it just a little added kick of flavor. And we all know that I like to bust out the Spice Weasel and kick it up a notch around here. So there you have it, guys. Until next time, keep on smoking it.